We are in that time period of after the Masters and before the U.S. Open. Can you imagine if you were good enough to play in both of them and you still were in college? It's one of the great stories in St. Louis golf history. With the help of photographer Randy Schweikert, we give you the story. On the surface, it merely looks like a typical man just practicing his golf swing. Not of particularly great size or strength at 6'1" and 170 pounds. But if you look a little closer, you start to notice the fluidity of the swing and the muscle memory. He duplicates it each and every time. Actually, there's nothing typical about John Kelly's golf life.
Yeah, I still get goosebumps thinking about it.
Like, it's like the third best week of my life.
When you think the name John Kelly, you think?
Oh, Masters. I'm still picturing the first tee.
20 years ago, Kelly was playing golf for the University of Missouri. He, along with about 5,000 other golfers around the country, entered to play in the U.S. Amateur Tournament. After all the qualifying rounds were completed, 312 actually got to play in the event in Minneapolis.
He had, I would say, a moderate kind of spring for Mizzou. He was not the #1 player on the team at that particular time, but he got hot at the right time. And you also have to remember, in the amateur, you have to get to the match play. So you have to play well for 2 days in stroke play. But once you get to match play, all bets are off.
John miraculously got to the final match and lost. But he actually won, because the runner-up and the champion got an invitation to the Masters tournament. A few months later, in October, John went to Augusta to play a practice round.
I was walking up to the first tee, and there's a foursome that was going out in front of me, and I got closer to the first tee, and lo and behold, Bill Gates was up there on the first tee, so I was following their group. You know, it was just me and my caddy, so just taking my time hitting some shots. I got to the first green in no hurry, and I looked back and I saw a man, you know, slowly walking up the fairway, and I asked my caddy, who is that behind us? Oh, John, that's Warren Buffett.
And John went back to Mizzou and played college golf in the fall and spring. But while other students may have gone to Daytona for spring break, Kelly went to Augusta for the Masters. What did he tell his professors?
Yeah, there's probably gonna be more days than not this next few weeks I'm not in the classroom, and here's why.
It was really nerve-wracking, and the place was packed, and he steps up and just, you know, right down the middle. I can't imagine what he was going through, but just Teresa and I, it was like we were a nervous wreck.
John actually played quite well. He didn't make the cut, but was the low amateur at the 2007 Masters.
In the 39 Masters that I've covered, the only St. Louisans in the field were John Kelly, Jay Haas, Hale Irwin.
And 6 weeks later, John played in the U.S. Open at Oakmont and shot 74 in the first round. That's John with Tiger Woods. He spent 10 years as a professional playing in mini tours all around the world, and it was a hard life.
You know, there's been times where I've woken up in little small towns in America where it takes you 45 seconds to be like, where am I? What am I doing? You just snap into reality. So those are the kind of the times when I was always would question, like, what am I doing?
Kelly regained his amateur status, and when he's not at his day job as an executive at Quest Diagnostics, he's playing golf, and he still has that incredible touch around the green. There are about 48 million people who play golf in the United States, and almost every one of them would kill to have the 6 weeks John Kelly had a few decades ago.
I was so young, I probably naive, I didn't realize it at the time, but those are memories, core memories I'll have for the rest of my life. I got, you know, to experience the mountaintop at a younger age.